Iran launched missile attacks on a US military base in Qatar on Monday, according to Tehran. The attack comes in retaliation for the American bombing of its nuclear sites and escalating tensions in the region. In a statement, Qatar's Ministry of Defense said that it reserves the right to respond directly and in accordance with international law, adding that all Iranian missiles were intercepted and destroyed and that the attack caused no casualties or damage. The base is considered one of the largest American military installations in the Middle East.
Israel launched a new unprecedented attack on Monday, targeting what its defense minister called the repressive apparatus of the regime in Tehran. Reports from Iran say strikes have hit police headquarters, the state broadcaster, and the notorious Evin prison in the capital. Separately on Monday morning, Israel's military confirmed it struck access routes to Iran's Fordo nuclear facility after US bombers hit the site over the weekend. The UN's nuclear watchdog says it expects very significant damage at the heavily fortified site. Iran has retaliated with a sustained missile barrage on Israel Monday morning lasting over 40 minutes, causing power outages for around 8,000 people. As the conflict entered its second week, Iran's foreign minister went to Moscow on Monday for talks with Vladimir Putin over what they called common threats and common enemies. Tehran has vowed its response will have everlasting consequences. In contrast, Defense Minister Israel Katz said, for every rocket fired at Israeli home front, the Iranian dictator will be severely punished.
Russian President Vladimir Putin called the US strikes on Iran an act of aggression as he met with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi for talks in Moscow. During Monday's meeting, Putin condemned the strikes by both Israel and the US against Tehran's nuclear facilities.
Спровоцированная абсолютно агрессия против Ирана не имеет под собой никаких оснований и никаких оправданий. У нас с Ираном давние, добрые, надежные отношения. Мы со своей стороны предпринимаем усилия для того, чтобы оказать содействие иранскому народу.
As Araghchi thanked Russia for its support, he added Russia today is on the right side of the story and international law. Meanwhile, Russia continues to carry out its war on Ukraine as Putin faces an international criminal court arrest warrant for alleged war crimes.
US President Donald Trump has hinted he would be open to regime change in Iran, questioning the future of its ruling theocracy in a social media post.
Massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities.
He asked, if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? The comment directly contradicted his own defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, who earlier said the US strikes were not about regime change.
Than President Trump.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance also sought to portray US involvement as limited.
They got to do what they got to do for, their own.
Their statements followed a US attack on 3 of Iran's nuclear sites and expansion of the conflict between Iran and Israel that began on June 13th when Israel attacked Iran's military infrastructure, killing a number of top commanders and nuclear scientists. A human rights group has estimated that the conflict has so far led to the deaths of at least 950 people in Iran and 27 in Israel.
Authorities are on alert over ongoing and increasing migratory flows between Libya and Greece. The Greek Prime Minister has decided to send warships to the territorial waters with Libya in order to limit or even completely stop the flow of migrants from this entry point.
Δυστυχώς έχουμε δει αρκετά περιστατικά τις τελευταίες μέρες που μας αναγκάζουν να δράσουμε προληπτικά και αποτρεπτικά με έναν πιο έντονο τρόπο, όπως ζητήσει και στα πλαίσια της Εθνικής Συνεδρίασης του ΚΙΣΕΑ από τον Υπουργό Εθνικής Άμυνας και την ηγεσία των ενόπλων δυνάμεων να μεριμνήσουν ώστε να αποσταλούν πλοία του ελληνικού ναυτικού έξω από τα χωρικά ύδατα της Λιβύης, ώστε προληπτικά και σε συνεργασία πάντα με τις λιβικές αρχές και με τις υπόλοιπες ευρωπαϊκές δυνάμεις να στείλουμε ένα μήνυμα ότι δεν πρόκειται να κάνουν κουμάντο οι διακινητές.
In recent weeks, the Greek Coast Guard have been rescuing hundreds of migrants every day. Last weekend, more than 700 people were found in various boats. The Greek Prime Minister said he will raise the issue at an upcoming EU summit, saying the issue is not only a Greek one, but European.
The island of Chios has been placed under a state of emergency after wildfires broke out in several areas on Sunday, according to the fire department. Strong winds helped the fires to spread quickly, leaving severe damage. By Monday, 190 firefighters with 11 forestry teams and 38 vehicles were already working to control the flames. Another 170 firefighters and 30 more vehicles were later sent to help. 13 helicopters and 4 Canadair planes also took part in the firefighting efforts during the day. The fires caused problems with the island's water supply, but works to fix it began on Monday afternoon. At the same time, investigations are underway to find out how the fires started in different remote areas of Chios. The state of emergency will last for 1 month to help with recovery and support for those affected.
Overnight Russian strikes killed at least 10 people across Ukraine, 7 of whom were in the capital Kyiv, local officials have said. Emergency crews worked to rescue people believed to be trapped beneath the rubble of a collapsed apartment building in Kyiv. The city's mayor Vitaly Klitschko told reporters at the scene that he hoped the death toll would not climb any higher.
Я дитину потім не спустилися, згори пополам, все тут горіло повністю. Ми ще будинок не бачили сусідній, тому що все було в диму, машини тліли, колеса лопали від температури. Теж це було страшно.
Це ми приїхали з другого району, тому що боялись у сусідки 2 діток маленьких. Як вони спаслися, ми не знаємо. Це шукаємо їх, я не бачу їх. Може, їх швидка забрала.
Overall, officials say more than 24 people were injured in the attacks on Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack as completely cynical and offered his condolences to victims' families.
European voters support boosting defence budgets. A new survey by the European Council on Foreign Relations across 12 EU countries shows growing public backing. The results come ahead of a NATO summit where leaders will debate raising defence spending to 5% of GDP. Support is strongest in Poland and Denmark, whilst Italy stands out as the only country where most respondents oppose the idea.
Across Europe, there is a lot of appetite for European countries to spend more on defense and to do some very concrete steps, such as reintroduction of a mandatory military service or development of either a national or a European alternative to the US nuclear deterrent.
Faced with Trump's threat of US disengagement, Europeans are split on whether the EU can defend itself alone. Only 34% of Italians believe it could within 5 years. Meanwhile, the Danes and the Portuguese are the most optimistic. 50% of the Portuguese and 52% of the Danes think that the EU would be capable of doing so.
Even if Europeans have no illusions about Donald Trump, are usually negative about him and see in their majority America as being a broken political system, it looks that European citizens do not yet believe that European Union will really be able to become completely autonomous from America.
Most Europeans also support EU military support for Ukraine and sanctions against Russia.
I think the most special thing is that we're actually crossing a border between two countries. The bridge is historical, building these two cities together.
What inspired me for this event was I was actually racing it 25 years ago for the first time. So coming back here is something I look forward to.
Trying to run on a course that's normally completely closed to runners and pedestrians. It's a unique opportunity and something you probably only will do once in your lifetime.
For me, it's the tunnel. I remember it's the longest sauna in Denmark, so I look forward to, 3 kilometers of very hot and moist air.
I look forward to the beautiful view on top of the bridge. Feel very small crossing it, so it's going to be an amazing experience.